A young woman named Sarah could influence others without speaking. While most people rely on eloquent speech and persuasive rhetoric to sway opinions, Sarah has mastered the art of silent communication. She used her actions and demeanor to convey her message with quiet power and grace. Ever since she was young, Sarah had been fascinated by the subtle nuances of human interaction. She observed how simple gestures or facial expressions could communicate emotions and intentions. As Sarah grew older, she honed her ability to influence others through silent communication, refining her daily skills and techniques. She discovered that by being present and attuned to the needs and desires of others, she could sway opinions, inspire action, and forge deep connections. One day, as Sarah walked through the bustling streets of her city, she came across a young boy sitting alone on a park bench. The boy seemed sad and troubled. Sensing his distress, Sarah approached him with a gentle smile and offered him a comforting hand and a sympathetic gaze. Sarah conveyed her empathy and compassion without saying a word, offering silent solace and support to a troubled boy. At that moment, he felt a sense of connection and understanding that he had never experienced before. Sarah's kindness and compassion lifted his heart in a way he had never felt before. As they sat together silently, the boy felt a weight lifted from his shoulders. His troubles melted away in the warmth of Sarah's presence. Although they never exchanged words, the bond they shared transcended language, speaking to the deepest recesses of their souls. Inspired by the encounter, Sarah continued to use her gift of silent communication to influence others positively. She volunteered at local shelters, offering her silent support to those in need, and spent countless hours comforting and consoling those suffering. Through her actions, Sarah became a beacon of hope and inspiration in her community. Her silent influence touched the lives of all who crossed her path. She showed others that true power lay not in the volume of one's voice, but in the depth of one's compassion and the sincerity of one's actions. Over time, Sarah's reputation as a silent influencer spread far and wide, earning her the respect and admiration of all who knew her. Though she never sought recognition or praise, Sarah's silent influence continued to ripple outward, touching the lives of countless individuals and inspiring positive change in her community. As Sarah strolled through the streets of her city, she felt a sense of happiness and gratitude. She realized that her true calling was to use her gift of silent communication to spread love, kindness, and compassion to everyone who crossed her path. Sarah had learned that real influence was more than speaking the loudest or commanding the most attention. It was about touching people's hearts and minds with the gentle power of love and empathy. By doing so, she had become a silent but powerful force for good in a world that desperately needed it. Influencing others without using words is an art that transcends language and involves nonverbal cues and thought transference. Everything in the material world vibrates, and our consciously directed thoughts can influence others with power proportional to their projection. Influence is a valuable skill that's not typically taught in high school. By mastering the art of persuasion, you can effectively communicate your visions and ideas to others. Strengthening your influence also means improving your interpersonal communication skills. You'll become someone others admire, feel motivated, and pay attention to. Respecting others' interests and perspectives is integral to being an influencer. With the power to inspire life-changing moments in others, influencers play a vital role in our communities, workplaces, and societies. To influence people without talking, you must first convince yourself of how things work when dealing with others. The power of nonverbal influence goes beyond immediate interactions and creates an atmosphere of mutual respect and understanding. Nonverbal communication is a powerful tool that can influence others without words. To master the art of body language, one must pay attention to their posture, gestures, and facial expressions. Keeping an open and welcoming body language can convey confidence and approachability. Subtle cues like nodding and maintaining eye contact can show agreement and engagement. You can effectively communicate without saying a word by aligning your body language with your intentions. Being fully engaged or wholly disengaged can convey your commitment to a conversation. You are interrupting and getting distracted, which signals complacency to those around you. Ideally, others will ignore your behavior, but in the worst-case scenario, you might receive embarrassing feedback and miss future opportunities. Listening actively and speaking less is essential to engage in a conversation fully. Active listening lets you gain insight into the emotional factors driving the other person's thinking. Once you understand their emotions, you can show that you know them and move the conversation forward. The other person may only accept your efforts if you appear focused, insincere, or self-centered. Maintaining eye contact can be a solid way to get your point across. The neural mechanism, mirror neurons, can influence someone through your state. These little triggers in our brains cause us to empathize with what we see, aiding our learning and development process. For instance, when you spend time with an infant and stick out your tongue at them, after a certain period, the baby will start to stick their tongue out back at you. This is because of mirror neurons in action. Stay focused and always remember why you want to influence people. What benefits will you gain from having these people on your side? What is your ultimate goal? Don't let your personal feelings or motives confuse your work goal. Strong emotions, like the desire to be right, can easily distract you from what's important. So stay focused on your work goal. Knowing where they're coming from is essential to understand what drives others. Listen to what they say to understand their perspective and where they want to go. If you wish to gain someone's trust, allow them to speak first and then ask questions. This will make them feel more comfortable and understood, even if you are not genuinely interested in what they are saying and are instead preoccupied with your thoughts, such as making a grocery list. It's important to remember to compliment the person you are trying to persuade. You can improve your efforts by showing admiration and making them feel important. However, you must do it earnestly and avoid flattery. People appreciate sincere praise, but excessive flattery can be off-putting. Influence is not about power, but rather the ability to guide and motivate others to act or think in a particular way. Whether you are collaborating with colleagues across departments or in a project team, effective influence is based on trust, credibility, and a genuine understanding of others' perspectives. Let's explore the fundamental principles that underpin influencing without authority. Trust and credibility are crucial aspects of influence, and they can be established without even uttering a word. To build trust with others, being consistent in your actions and following through on your commitments is essential. In conclusion, mastering the art of silent influence is a subtle yet powerful skill that can be developed through mindfulness, empathy, and authenticity. By mastering the art of body language, cultivating presence and awareness, and leading by example, you can influence others without speaking a single word. Remember to harness the power of empathy, practice the art of silence, and build trust and credibility to exert influence with integrity and authenticity. With these strategies, you can become a master of silent influence, positively impacting those around you. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe for more life-changing videos.